Alright, what's up, guys? So, WrestleMania has uploaded a video titled 10 WWE wrestling matches that should have been stopped. Yeah, I think there are at times where it's like wrestlers, they get injured too bad, and yeah, the match has to stop. Like, I don't know why they continue, and it's something where I'm like, nah, I just know if I was like behind some wrestling company and I could visibly see that a wrestler is injured, whether it's a cut on their head or if they're limping, I'm like, no, check on. I'm pretty sure they're doing that. But me, I'll go as far as if I need to go out there myself and check and see if the wrestler is okay. Because I'm like, fam, my thing is this. Yeah, obviously, you want to continue on for the fans, continue on, the show and things, because you want to impress the fans. But I'm all like, my thing is this. I feel like that if you are a true wrestling fan, you know that these guys be out here getting hurt. And you ain't gonna be like, nah, continue. I don't care if your body is broke. Continue. I paid good money. My thing is this. If, let's say, for an example, because I hadn't been to a wrestling event in years, but let's just say if I were to go to a wrestling event right now, like right now, right? And let's say it's like Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn. So yeah, let's say it's last night's match, right? So yeah, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, they go in there. By the way, I'm recording this on the 7th, so most likely by the time this video comes out, it might be a while from now. But anyways, but no, let's say Sami Zayn, he decides to power bomb Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, he hits his head too hard and he's laid out unconscious. Let's say that's the first match. No wrestler feels comfortable going on with all the matches, and they want to just be like, you know what? No, we're all gonna head home. Sorry, and all that stuff. You guys will get your money back. All that. I wouldn't have no issue with it because I'm like, fam, it's that man's health first before my entertainment. So I just think that if you are a wrestling fan and you're like, oh, I don't care how hurt they are, they need to continue on with the match. Nah, I'm like, they don't need to. And I'm like, my thing is this. Yeah, if they want to, then it's one of those things. It's like if they more so not if they want to, but if they can, then okay, cool. If they can't, then it's like, fam, no, like move on to the next match. I'm like, it's like I didn't pay money to see somebody, have to retire early. I paid money for a match. So, but then it's like it could be a situation where this video, it's like maybe a match was just so bad that they had to end the match. And so if it's one of those cases, then yeah, I know if it's like if them wrestlers don't know how to wrestle, then I'm like, I'll go out there, I'm doing this, and I'm like, and that ain't for DX. I hit my microphone. I'm doing this because no, match is over. I'm like, no, you suck and you suck. No, you guys just go to the back. I'll wrestle if I need to, but you guys just go to the back. But now let's go ahead and get into this video. Make sure if you guys haven't, go subscribe to WrestleMania for more videos like this. And that being said,
wrestlers push through injuries in order to finish a match and send the fans home happy. However, when some of the injuries that have occurred during WWE's top
that was
matches
crazy.
are analyzed, a ton of questions are asked as to just why the match was allowed to continue. Whilst it's courageous that the wrestler worked through these injuries, at the end of the day, their well-being should always be WWE's #1 priority, and it's hard to argue against the argument that
was crazy too.
Should have been brought to a definitive conclusion.
Too.
Join us now as WrestleMania looks at 10 WWE matches.
Yeah, that was that reason why Seth Rollins had to skip out that one WrestleMania, and then he came back that next WrestleMania and cashed in the Money in the Bank. Oh, bro, I had to say that was like the last time I was genuinely upset at a match. Like, I was like, are you serious? I'm like, Seth, because I think that was like the first time I think Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns was going up against each other, and I'm like, you could have wait until after the match. He decided that he wanted to cash it in the middle. Bro, still upset. I'm like, Seth, if you ever see this video, I'll never forgive you for that. But anyways.
Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new website, WrestleMania.com. Number 10, Maven vs. Christian. A broken leg is one of the worst injuries a pro wrestler can suffer, and when Maven suffered one in a match against Christian on SmackDown in 2002, WWE made the call to continue the matchup. Maven would discuss the match and injury on his acclaimed YouTube series, and this is what the former hardcore champion had to say. That makes me cringe. The move is called a baseball slide. Now, I played baseball for probably the better part of 17 years of my life, so the fact that I broke my
Ooh.
leg on a baseball slide, that's God proving he
Dang,
has
it's
a
like
sense
you
of
see
humor.
it too.
When you
Dang.
mess an ankle up, what you're doing in essence, what's going to hurt you, and that I still feel my ankle still swollen to this day. You're tearing up a ton of ligaments, a ton of tendons. The doctor said that both bone breaks will heal in probably 6 to 10 weeks. That's not the issue. The ligaments and tendons of the ankle, depending on how much you tore those up, that's going to be the true injury, and that's going to decide how long you're sidelined for.
Wow.
Maven went on to praise Christian for his efforts in the match, as a wrestling veteran was constantly checking on him, making sure he was okay. He's not putting any pressure on my neck there, but he's asking me, how hurt are you? Can you continue? Do we need to throw up an X? But I tell him I can finish. Knowing Vince McMahon is sitting back in Gorilla right behind the curtain, there's no way in hell I'm not going to finish this match. Number 9, Triple H and Stone Cold.
I don't know, man. But that's one thing that I do love about wrestlers is that they're checking and seeing if they're okay. Like that's as you get older, because as a kid and you're watching wrestling, you're thinking like these guys genuinely hate each other. But then as you get older, and then you actually be paying attention and be listening to stories and all. I love how like open wrestlers are now, because I don't know, maybe back then they were open and I just wasn't paying attention to it. But no, it's like you see how open a wrestler is, and then they talk and praise other wrestlers. I love to hear it, man. I really love to hear that.
Steve Austin versus Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho. Now, Triple H has made a career out of working through injuries. In 2001, the game was arguably on the run of his career, as he was in the midst of a top heel tag team with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the two would face the duo of Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho on Raw. During the match, which is widely regarded as one, if not the greatest match in the history of Raw, the game tore his quad. Without question, the match should have been stopped, or at least Triple H should have been taken away for medical attention. Of course, Triple H pushed through the injury and somehow, someway managed to finish the match as originally planned. A similar situation would occur in 2007 when the game tore his quad in a tag match, and yet again the WWE legend continued wrestling without a hitch.
That's some crazy stuff,
Number 8,
man.
TLC 4. Thanks to new research over the past decade in relation to concussions, WWE thankfully takes them seriously, and if a wrestler is seriously concussed,
Oh, yeah, I
then they
remember
are
that.
pulled from in-ring action. During TLC 4 in 2002, Bubba Ray Dudley suffered a serious concussion when he was bulldogged off a ladder by Chris Jericho. The concussion was so substantial that Bubba didn't have a clue where he was, and Jericho had to literally talk him through each step of the match. If this type of situation occurred in modern-day WWE, then Bubba would have been pulled out of the match with immediate effect. Thankfully, Jericho's professionalism and ability was on full display, as without his guidance, Bubba could have seriously hurt himself.
That's
Number
crazy.
7, Kurt Angle versus
I think this will always go down in history as one of those matches that should have ended. Even Vince himself, I remember hearing a situation where they had to like prevent Vince McMahon from going out there because he wanted to check. I mean, anybody would want to check on their son and see if they're okay, but I think this will forever go down in history as one of those matches. I was getting ready to say something, but as soon as I saw this, I was just locked in. So, all right, anyways.
Shane McMahon and Kurt Angle collided in one of the most brutal street fight matches imaginable at the 2001 King of the Ring event. The match was supposed to see Angle suplex McMahon through a panel of glass, and this was intended to be sugar glass, but someone made a huge mistake and accidentally placed plexiglass in the panels. Due to this, McMahon was badly hurt, and due to the horrors of what was unfolding, Vince McMahon himself was getting ready to cancel the match, as he was utterly appalled in terms of what he was seeing. Number 6, The Undertaker vs. Goldberg. Heading into The Undertaker vs. Goldberg
like
match
Shane
at
McMahon.
Super Showdown 2019, there was obvious concern that the match was going to be less than stellar. Both men, despite being absolute legends,
A little bit of a typo.
way past their respective prime, and for the match to work, it was going to need to be brief and to the point. Unfortunately, Goldberg reportedly knocked himself out during the match, and the match fell apart. The moment that the referee realized that Goldberg was knocked out, the match should have been brought to a close, as what followed made for rather uncomfortable viewing. The match turned into a total botch fest, and it was a miracle that both men came out of the match alive.
Dang.
as it would
Oh,
drop
that
their
is
heads numerous
scary.
times throughout the match.
Oh, man, that is
According
scary.
to Goldberg on Twitter, even though he was knocked out, he believed he could finish the match. Knocked myself out and thought I could finish. Love my fans, but let you down. Everyone else that found pleasure, hope you're happy. Both men have spoken about their regrets when it comes to that match, and thankfully WWE would learn their lesson, as following the match, they would only pair the two wrestlers with talents who were in a position to carry them through a passable and, more importantly, safe matchup. Number 5, Eddie Guerrero versus
That's
JBL.
scary, bro. Like, it's one of those. No, let me
Go
on pause
WWE
because then it's like
presented one of the
YouTube. I'm like,
bloodiest
oh nope,
matches
you
in their
paused on the
history,
scene there. It's
as Eddie
like too
Guerrero
bloody and things, but yeah, it's nah, that's just that match. I think that's another one of those matches where it's gonna go down in history as a match that shouldn't have happened. And yeah, then for like those guys to just, I just think they need to have it where it's like they, because I think some of the times those refs you can see like earpieces in like in them and stuff. So no, I think they need to be like, hey, like wrap that match up because they're out of it. So it's like, nah, just wrap it up. Especially with Goldberg knocking himself out. I feel like no, stuff like that happens more enough, and then it does some like legitimate damage to a wrestler where it's like, yeah, Goldberg might be able to take that stuff, but the next wrestler might not be able to take that. And so yeah, it'll be a situation where it's like they're forced to retire because on some like crazy, let's just continue on with the match. So hopefully now they're paying attention more to wrestlers' health, and it's like, hey, if you need to, be out on injury, okay, cool, but like don't be out here continuing matches that you shouldn't be continuing.
Guerrero defended the WWE title against JBL at the Judgment Day pay-per-view.
Was this when they both got hit across the head with shit?
Guerrero delivered one of the scariest blade jobs ever as he bladed too deep, and in the process he sliced a major artery. The bloodshed on display was like nothing seen before in WWE programming, as it was everywhere. Although it was memorable, it was arguably too much, and Guerrero was losing blood at a terrifying rate, and he needed immediate medical assistance. Number 4, The Rock versus Kurt Angle versus
I'm like, yeah, I remember I cut my thumb up pretty bad back when I was in high school, and I felt like I was gonna pass out in a situation like that. Oh yeah, I'm definitely passing out. Excuse me, because yeah, that was way too much. That's crazy.
The SummerSlam 2000 was main evented by a WWE title match between The Rock, Kurt Angle, and Triple H. The match is infamous for a dreaded injury that occurred to Angle during the match, and that should have brought Angle's involvement in the match to a definitive end. The injury occurred when Triple H performed a pedigree onto Angle through the announce table, and the issue was that the table gave way, meaning that Angle's head hit the concrete. Angle was knocked senseless, and despite WWE delivering a scripted spot where Angle would head to the backstage area, he somehow managed to come back out and finish the match. The head of WWE creative Triple H even admitted that none of this should have occurred during an interview on Logan Paul's podcast. Now this is where the story gets terrible, because now we know about the concussions and everything else. None of this should have ever happened, but we didn't know this at the time. But Kurt goes into the back. Rock and I are just working now. At some point, we're getting feedback from the back through the referee, and finally, it was Earl Hebner. I just tell Earl, do not tell me one thing. With a lot of expletives in here, they said from the back, I don't give a shit. I need one thing. Tell me if he's coming back, if he knows where he is. That's it, that's all I need to know, and tell me when. We'll just keep going until someone tells me he can come out or he ain't coming out. I'll figure out a finish. Number 3, The Undertaker versus Mankind.
That match was,
wrestling fan can recall the thrilling visual of Mankind being thrown off the Hell in a Cell by The Undertaker. But upon
still holds up to
it's
this
clear
year.
that the match should have ended right there. The bump itself is so famous that if WWE stopped the match right there due to legitimate safety concerns for Mankind, it's likely that WWE would avoid the backlash. If the match had stopped, then Mankind would have avoided one of the scariest and unscripted spots in company history. When Taker chokeslammed Mankind through the cell, the roof was never supposed to give in, and according to Mankind, the bump was so dangerous that he could have died. Number 2, Survivor Series 2002 Elimination Chamber. The 2002 Survivor Series featured the first ever Elimination Chamber, and Triple H suffered a major injury in the match that led him to being rushed to hospital. One of the most famous spots in the match saw Rob Van Dam perform a 5-star frog splash from the top of the chamber pod onto Triple H. The move unfortunately didn't go to plan, as RVD's shin came across the game's throat. The way Triple H sold the move wasn't a case of him acting, that was legitimate, genuine pain that the game was in. According to Triple H, he was struggling to breathe, and there was concern that he could have died in the matchup. The match should have come to a close, that the game could be checked over, and WWE with the talents in the match could have easily come up with a brand new improvised finish. And number 1, Brock Lesnar.
Them guys, man, I'm telling you, like the wrestling is such a professional sport. Like, to anybody that wants to have that debate on like, oh, wrestling is fake, it's this, it's that, and that's why, like, when I see videos of like Randy Orton, for an example, when they be like going up to him talking about wrestling is fake. And there's been probably times where he done seen his friends come like close to dying in the middle of the ring because of a move gone wrong. And then you got some like random guy that's never wrestled a day before in his life telling you that wrestling is fake. Yeah, I now understand why Randy Orton be getting mad when people be saying that stuff. Because it's like these guys, they train so much. They do all this work. They put on these 5-star matches, end up getting some catastrophic injury in the middle of the match, still continue on with the match, come this close within dying. And yeah, there's at times it's just, man, I'm telling you, wrestling, I had to say out of all the sports, I mean, like, yeah, basketball, you got UFC, you got NFL. It's like where they all be getting like, like some of the most craziest injuries and stuff all throughout sports, every sport out there. Soccer, you see some crazy injuries, but man, wrestling, I'm telling you, I feel like all wrestling matches has a 50-50 chance of like something going wrong. So yeah, that's why I'm like, yeah, with wrestling, I remember like kid me, he wanted to live that dream. He wanted to be a professional wrestler, but I'm telling you, like now, yeah, it's like maybe if I build my, like, my fame up and they have me do like some little celebrity match or something, maybe, just maybe. But professionally, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, nah, I'm gonna flat out admit it. Grown man and all that, I'm gonna flat out admit it. I'm scared. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I am genuinely scared to do wrestling. I'll do anything else, bro, but wrestling, nah, man, that's a scary sport.
Lesnar versus The Undertaker. When WWE arrived at WrestleMania 30, it was an exception that The Undertaker would have an all-time classic at WrestleMania. However, at that WrestleMania, Father Time began to catch up with the dead man. Early on in the match with Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker suffered a concussion, and this wasn't obvious from initial viewing, as it looked like the dead man was selling, but the concussion was severe. During an appearance on Broken Skull Sessions, the dead man discussed just how serious the concussion was. Somewhere within the first 5 minutes, I get concussed. I don't even remember this night. I watch it back now and obviously know. My last memory that I can definitively tell you happened at about 3:30 in the afternoon when my wife came backstage and we had a conversation. That's the last thing I remember on my show about that day. At this point in my career, there's a huge process of me getting ready between the stretching, visiting the doctors, doing everything I need to get myself ready to perform. An hour and a half, 2-hour process that's completely gone. My memory picks up 4:35 in the morning when I'm in hospital.
Wow.
Whilst The Undertaker's injury in the match did lead to questions relating why WWE didn't stop the match, it later surfaced that when the dead man appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience, that he went into the match with a broken neck, meaning that if WWE delivered effective medical testing on the dead man, then he wouldn't have been cleared for the match. The doctors take me back. My wife, Michelle McCool, and Vince McMahon are there in the waiting room. They come out, it's the same kind of deal. The doctors go, alright, he's broken his neck and we're going to give him another scan. Obviously, my wife is completely freaking out at this point. We come to find out they had read the scans wrong. It was an old break that I never knew I had. I never knew it.
Wow.
Well, there you have it, folks. 10
That's
WWE
crazy.
matches that should have been stopped. Be sure to leave your comments down below. I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.
Yeah, that's scary, man. Wrestling is a scary sport. I don't care what anybody says. I'm like, nah, wrestling will forever, in my opinion, be one of the most scariest sports out there. It's like, dang, that was a straight up tongue twister. But anyways, no, like I was saying, it's just, when you're looking these guys in the face, right? And they literally put their bodies on the line for these matches, for people's entertainment and stuff. Just to have it where you got like some 20-year-old naive person that's not really paying attention to wrestling. And me, I was like that when I was a kid. I was like, yeah, because when people, they tell me about like wrestling being fake and all this stuff. Fam, I was being I remember that one kid was trying to bully me in middle school for being a wrestling fan. I'm like, for one, do you realize that we're kids? I'm not gonna be out here filing taxes at 11 years old and stuff. I'm being a kid. I'm doing kid stuff. I'm watching wrestling. And I still watch wrestling to this day. I'm like, you mean to tell? My thing is this. I'm like, to anybody out there that's like, if you're a kid and you're getting bullied for watching wrestling and stuff, just tell them, like, some of those wrestlers are like 40, 50 years old, like, still wrestling, tighty whities and everything, and they up there elbow dropping, clotheslining, tombstoning and all that stuff. And they 50 something years old, 40, 50 something years old. They're an adult. They're a grown man or a woman, whatever they got going on. But it's like, my thing is this. I don't, me personally, I don't care. If people want to judge me for watching wrestling, I'm like, bro, do you know how many things out there people watch? I'm like, you got people out there that watch like them reality, the Real Housewives of whatever city that they're in. And I'm like, what? Like, and so I'm saying it's like, that's just people's entertainment. That's just what they find entertaining. But I do remember where it's like at times like people were saying that like how fake wrestling is. And I'm like, that's not why I'm watching it. I'm not watching it so I can pick up on all the mistakes that they make and things. I'm like, fam, I all the time throughout the years of me watching wrestling, it's like that's one thing that I like that I do pay attention to, but it's not on something where I'm like, oh no, I'm like they just ruined the whole show for me. But one thing I like seeing is when a wrestler like so like let's say wrestler like they jump off of the turnbuckle and they slam onto the announcement tables with like one of the other wrestlers or something, and then you see where they'll be like laying next to each other, but they grab each other's hands and then they squeeze like that. No, I look for stuff like that, but I more so look for it because I also find that entertaining. I more so find it entertaining that it's all like them guys are really friends. They don't hate each other and stuff. So no, like I watch if there's any reason why like I pick up on something on wrestling, it's because I just want to like, I want to see like how authentic it is, like even like while they're putting on this show, but how like authentic like these guys' friendships are, if they cool with one another, whatever the situation is. I like paying attention to stuff like that, so I don't be paying attention to it so I could call them out. I be paying attention to it because I actually like watching it and stuff. So but yeah, it's like I just think that people need to drop that narrative of like wrestling being fake, when it's like this video alone and so many other wrestling videos out there where you see these guys putting on like 5-star matches, going above and beyond, and then they out there killing it left and right. And then you got like some, like I said, naive, just overall, just somebody just out there being dumb, trying to tell them about wrestling and trying to tell, and you're telling a person that done trained years for wrestling. Like that's one thing that I would like. I thought about it. I was like, it kind of was like running through my mind for a little bit, not too long ago. Like, and fam, I was like actually committed with it. I was like looking on Amazon for some wrestling shoes. Like, I was going to follow, and I don't know, maybe it's still in me. Like, when I feel like the next time I think about it, I think I am going to be a little bit more serious about it. Cause no, I would like to do a professional wrestling match at some point in time in my life. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I'm not going to go into it thinking that it's this, when in reality it's like what I've been watching for years, and it's like it's just friends putting on a show and stuff. It ain't no different than like when you go to like a circus or something. You see the guys, they be swinging back and forth on them like swing set type things. Got a elephant like standing on its like hind legs and all that stuff, and doing backflips with the lion. I don't think they do backflips with a lion, but I'm just saying it's a show. It's for entertainment reasons, and the fact that these guys will literally put their lives on the line for entertainment reasons, I'm telling you, man, it's like the entertainment in WWE is very well. I mean, but it's just like that for all TNA, Impact, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, all like wrestling organizations. It's like, nah, I feel like all wrestlers, even if it's a wrestler that only wrestled a few matches and they still gave it their all and things, but yeah, I feel like all wrestlers deserve their flowers. So I'm like, from ones that are, just starting, from the ones that's made a name for themselves, for the retired ones, and for the ones that have passed on. I'm like, all wrestlers deserve their flowers because they be putting on 5-star matches every time. And then, like I said, it's like a 50-50 chance on whether or not I'm going to leave this match like how I entered this match, or if I'm going to leave this match on like a gurney or a wheelchair or something. So yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, nah, man, wrestlers deserve their flowers, all wrestlers. So, but anyways, and that being said, well, maybe except the ones that be out there purposely trying to hurt people and things. So, but yeah, them, I'm like, nah, you just stay off on the side. But the ones that's like, they be out there putting in their all on them matches, it's like, you guys deserve your flowers. But anyways, make sure you guys go subscribe to WrestleLamia for more videos like this. Like, subscribe to me too, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.